Greetings and the best of salutations. This self-introspection. I am becoming older, and I'm coming to realize from my youth from youth to adolescent to my older years, when it comes to being in this learning environment, where motivation plays a part. When it comes to a below average student, an average student, and an above average student. In nations or countries, they look at your culture background, your family background, and of course they're associated with one's individual experiences, and determining maybe a possible outcome for the child. Some children may have grown up in an entrepreneur family, and more than likely that may rub off on the child. It's an assessment. And some may have, there are exceptions to the rules, for me, that it doesn't necessarily determine how, if an individual can be financially successful in the society in which we live. It's exception to the rules. You can attend, some may not complete high school, but yet they can be successful and even running a large business, and have people under them, for lack of words, and working for them or with them. I know that we are in if under the Gregorian calendar, to 2023, whereas that which may work then may not work now. That standard then may not be the standard now, even though some have the problem with the word standard. It's fine. But it's a self-introspect. You can read something, but you may not comprehend. Grades 1 through 4, you learn to read, and you read to learn. It says that which someone says the first 40 years you're learning, and then after that you're living what you have learned. So if I come to conclude that I was an average student through elementary, I think not to. I think when I got to the third or fourth, things start changing. But and still fighting through, trying to rise above of just getting by. And a lot of times children can act out on that, and they try to compensate for that, which and also social comparison play a part too. Peers play a part too, and try to make up for being an average student, because they feel as though that he or she is an average person, and trying to fight not to be consumed by being a below average person. Just whatever that term means, but I'm just dealing with the laws of percentages, if I may use this, below average, average, and above average when it comes to learning or being a student. So you have to have diction skills, vocabulary skills, communication skills, social interaction skills, business skills, and math plays a part in that. And remember, there are exceptions to the rule in being financially successful in the society in which we live. But yes, I realized that if there is an assessment, my emphasis would be on where is my inspiration coming from? My inspiration. The process of being mentally stimulated. And then we deal with the information as it pertains to some hope or some ambition in order to achieve something. And then we deal with the enlightenment, the state of my mental, emotional well-being. And then we deal with the encouragement, and that's when we deal with the confidence. We deal with the confidence, the encouragement. Where did it come from? And then the empowerment of what, as one can understand and relate with the power and the responsibility for the choices and the decisions. And the options that one have. I may use those terms, but you get my point. That one has it. Do those options or choices, have they inspired? Are they inspiring? Do they inspire me? Do they mentally stimulate me? Do they indeed? Does the information gives me ambition to achieve something? What is it that I want to achieve? Does it enlighten me? The action or the state of the condition, my living condition, my mental condition, my emotional condition that it is in? Is it encouraging me? And then finally, is it empowering me when it comes to being, as I recognize the responsibility for myself and pertains to understanding the consequences and the choices and the decisions that I make? This is the assessment says, under this model, says to me that it is average, very average. And just doing things just to get by. Just to get by. Now, there are people that do things who have learned, who are above average. But remember, I always say, is the intention behind which a person does a thing. Because of, if I may use this loosely, forgive me, when it comes to where one's heart is, say that's where your treasures would be also, because people can develop the skill of manipulation to manipulate themselves to be in a certain position, and very successful, very intelligent, but yet misappropriately used. the intelligence. Yes. The thing that I'm trying to express and share is an assessment model of self introspection and understanding and dealing with motivation and environment of the past and the present, which propels or prepare one for the future, even though some they say they're one and the same, and how people can become who are have been below average and maybe have risen above to become average, and then possibly risen above to become above average. And yet there are means and ways in which people can do things to compensate, to make up of being below average or average. For example, I could say myself, when I wrote books, um, that really helped me to make a mark, to say that I am um, trying to rise above being average and not trying to fall below being, fall below average. And people can even make it up of being, using substance and using people, as well as can be a very, it's a natural thing to have sex, but to be very promiscuous, like I am the man, I have this many people who I interact with, trying to make up for it. And the system has in place, um, how can I say it? Um, let's say programs. That could help you. Either it could help you in a minor in a way, or could hurt you in the manner way in which you use it to help you through it, or you can just be, dependent on it. Just being average, and it could mean that maybe the system maybe wants to consume you, and can and you become a majority of the time a consumer. But that's another ball game for itself. But my point is that there are mechanisms in place that they create what is called any system have places of confinement or imprisonment for people who try to um, make up for feeling for being average or below average. They can become um, people that hurt people because they themselves feel hurt, and they can become robbers of banks, because the value that is placed on money, and they obtain that money. When we replace our value, they attain that gives them value, and even those who even can become political officials and officers of the law, they have been devalued, and now they have value. So and they can misappropriately use that. Human experience is quite interesting. Um, Humans are still learning along the way to try to be human. But this was an assessment, a personal assessment that I have just introduced to you when it comes to the inspiration of the process of how I go about, or that which is how I'm being mentally stimulated, or how a person is being mentally stimulated. And when it comes to being a good student, because the universe is a above average student, because the universe is a learning environment. But then there's the information, that which is or a hope or an ambition of achieving something. What is it that I want to achieve? Then the enlightenment look at the state of my mental well-being, and that which I am trying to achieve, and the encouragement, the assessment of the encouragement is that which gives me confidence. It's the confidence, it's being confident. And the empowerment, which means making it official, that which assumes or recognize, I don't want to say assume, but that which recognize and the consequences, or complete consequences, of being responsible for the options, the choices, and the decisions that one must make to try to become an above average students, because any information is designed to be refined, or even to reform you, and which is helpful to understand the importance and the meaning of the going through the process of understanding what mentally stimulates people, and this is when people become very creative. You got people that are very creative and they're very analytic, because they're trying to what? They're trying to achieve something, because they understand the state of the condition in which they're in, and therefore the encouragement is in the confidence that it gives him or her, and that they must resume complete, let's say, responsibility for self when it comes to the consequences and the choices that decision that they make, and that's being responsible. Yes. Okay. seehumanity.org just gave you all some insight of the self-introspection assessment as it pertains to was associated with in a very small way, and of the below student, average student, and above average student. Until next time.